Alright, we got a title fight here. But it's the flyweights. Nah, I'm joking. Flyweights are totally back. They're totally back in fashion now. They're putting on good fights, good scraps. Fight of the night every time out. Yeah, you gotta really respect the flyweights for bringing it back. And Triple C. Triple C for bringing it back. Gotta love Triple C. And we got a good one here for the vacant flyweight title. Deiveson Figueiredo versus Joseph Benavidez. Benavidez been around for fucking ever. Only really lost to two goats of weight classes. Flyweight division, he's only lost to Demetrius Johnson. Bantamweight, he's only lost to Dominic Cruz. So there's no shame in losing to either of those guys. He just happened to do it twice. But that just tells you that he loses the original match and then keeps winning, just beating all the number one contender fights, and just earning a rematch the hard way. I don't believe he lost that Sergio Pettis fight, to be honest. I think Sergio got away with a robbery there. And yeah, he's 35 now, so could that be affecting his speed? To the untrained eye, it doesn't look like it, but it does look like he's slowed down a little bit, and there's a lot of analysts that have said that he slowed down a little bit when they're commentating his fights. I think Bisping said it last fight that Joe B, it did look to his eyes that, or eye, get it? But it did look to Bisping's eye that he has slowed down a little bit from his younger days. But this is his best chance to win a title that has eluded him his whole career. Like, this is the most winnable matchup for him. And for Deiveson, he's got a 3-inch reach advantage, 1-inch height advantage. And also, this is expected to be a tough weight cut for him. I don't believe he's ever made 125 on the dot. He's also missed weight a couple of times, and the times that he has made weight, he's looked pretty deftly on the scale, and like in some occasions he's been forced to tears because of the weight cut. So that's got to be something to look at. Just breaking down the striking for this one. No, fuck it, we'll break down their whole game plan because it's flyweight. They're just going to be fucking scrambling and brawling the whole time. So yeah, Deiveson is a measured counterpuncher. He's in that wide stance, keeps that hand extended sometimes to gauge range and stop, just put off opponents from advancing on him. He's got that stiff jab that he'll throw with that outstretched hand. Also, his initial scramble's very good when the opponents try and take him down, but he can be controlled on the ground after that initial scramble, as we saw in the Formiga fight and the Jared Brooks fight. He's got great balance when he's defending takedowns. He's got decent takedown defense, but as I said, once you get him down and get past that initial scramble, he can be controlled. And also, he'll use explosive movements to get off bottom. Very energy draining movements. He's very fast twitch, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes over 5 rounds. This is his first time going 5 rounds. Yeah, first time he's ever been booked for a 5-round fight. He uses a lot of explosive movements. He doesn't look like he has a lot of body fat on him. So we'll see how he goes in this 5-round fight. He does look like he has good cardio though. He's very efficient with his cardio. He doesn't expend a lot of energy. When he does do these explosive movements, usually they are successful. A few tendencies that Deiveson has is that he'll throw elbows in the clinch when they're clinched up, and he'll rain down bombs when standing up in the opponent's guard. And you saw that in the Moraes fight, I believe. In his first fight, just started raining down bombs. I think quickly TKO'd him with a few ground and pound shots. For Joe B, he'll switch stances. He's competent in both stances. Mostly he'll be in southpaw, and when he's switching to orthodox, he'll mostly just throw kicks, or he'll switch just for the sake of throwing a switch kick, and then revert back to southpaw. And how he closes the distance is quite interesting, as he's usually on the the negative end of the reach equation. He'll close the distance by, changing levels, trying to be unpredictable, and also switching stance, which is what, obviously he was doing it before these guys were, but this is how Masvidal knocked out Darren Till. Yeah. So if you want to see what I'm talking about in the physical form, go watch the Masvidal Till knockout, because you can never watch that enough. It's pretty fucking... It's terrible that I find it funny, but it's just the way Darren Till's head bounces off the canvas is absolutely crazy. It's just, you can tell it just wiped away years of his life. It was very... I really liked Darren Till, and I liked him in that fight. I actually bet him. But yeah, that was a crazy knockout. Very nice to watch. That's why Masvidal's become such a fan favorite. But back to this one. Yeah, but Joe B, he'll bum rush you. He'll throw some hooks while he's, blitzing you. He lowers his level every time he's about to throw his hands. So that's a tell. As soon as you see him lower his level, just be careful, evade, or look to counter. Which is probably what Figueiredo will do. He's a, measured counter puncher. He'll look to land his right hand. And yeah, Joe B, he's also got very nice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think he's a black belt. He'll cinch that guillotine up in the north-south position when the opponent's turtled up. He's also got a nice guillotine off the takedown, off an opponent's takedown shot. Saw that he locked that up pretty quickly against Tim Elliott. And yeah, same shit that Figueiredo did to Tim Elliott. So that's interesting. Both in the first round too. And Tim Elliott was winning both those fights, which is fucking crazy. Pretty much the exact same situation. Also, Joe B in scrambles, he'll attack a single or a double leg. He just uses the wrestling to get up to the feet, is basically what I'm saying. Joe B, how he wins, he's just solid everywhere. Like, very solid. Excellent scrambles. Good guillotine. Got excellent cardio. He can go 5 rounds, no problem, throwing an uptick in volume even in the 5th round. And for Deiveson Figueiredo, or the God of War, as his Brazilian nickname translates to, he's got that intimidation factor. He can usually back opponents up just by stalking and flashing that right hand, just kind of teasing that right hand. Always keeps the right hand cocked and ready to fire. He's got great head, upper body movement. He's got really good reflexes. He's pretty ferocious in there. Like, once he gets that, he's got killer instinct. Once he gets that taste of blood, he just goes after it. He's got a great chin. I don't see Joe B knocking him out, even though Joe B does have decent power. Saw that in the Alex Perez fight. He got some decent power on that ground and pound, made Perez pretty much just cover up and quiver. Also, what did he do? He knocked out somebody recently. Oh yeah, Formiga, yeah, he knocked him out, but that was kind of Formiga just quitting, really. Also, Deiveson Figueiredo comes with forward pressure, just kind of stalking pressure. It's not intense like Tony Ferguson. It's just kind of stalking, and he's got a good squeeze on his guillotine trap on his takedowns. You saw that in the Tim Elliott fight, most highlighted there, but he also got it a few times in the Jared Brooks fight. But Jared Brooks was pretty gutsy to pull that out. Like, a lot of fighters would have tapped to that, but Jared Brooks just didn't, and eventually got his head out. And yeah, like, it's a very strenuous move to do, the guillotine hold off a takedown attempt, and just squeeze your legs, squeeze the guard, squeeze your arms. It's very taxing on the body. Yeah, and he's also very powerful in both hands for a flyweight. How they lose, however, for Joe B, he, his movements can get predictable. His bum rushes, his blitzes, his level change feints, they can get pretty predictable. And to be honest, that's exactly what Deiveson's looking for. He's looking for the opponent to bum rush in so he can land that hard too. So maybe he'll switch up the style for this one, but I don't see it. He's had that style for his whole career, which is like 15 years. And also, Joe B keeps his hands low at all times. Keeps his fucking hands lower than he does in the picture right there. It's not good when you're fighting a power puncher, like a power counter puncher like Deiveson. Also for Deiveson, he keeps his hands low at all times as well. But it's more of his game to bait the opponents in for the counter, and also he does have really good reflexes and good head movement, upper body movement to evade. He kind of slips or leans back just enough for the opponent to miss, so he doesn't have to move his feet, and then he's right back in range because he didn't move his feet at all, and he's ready to counter. Something Max Holiday does a lot. Also, Deiveson can get too comfortable on his back. Saw that in the Jared Brooks fight. Just was on his back for the majority of the fight, it seemed like. Just throwing up submissions. He's very aggressive off his back, but it's not how you win fights in 2020. Also, he'll give his back every time when getting up off bottom. And also, he can telegraph his power punches when he's not counterpunching. So when he's the aggressor, when he's being the one to lead the dance, he does telegraph his punches quite a bit because he does fire from the hips. So Joe B, if I would say counterpunch in this matchup for Joe B. Alright, so path to victory for both guys. We'll break down Deiveson's path to victory first. Uppercuts when Joe B level changes. So, you understand, you make the read on when he uppercuts and when he's entering when he's level changing and when he's entering on the level change, because he will level change when he decides to enter. So, meet him in the middle with an uppercut. Catch him with a hard two as he's coming in. Pettis did that quite effectively. Pettis was looking for that right hand the whole time while Joe was bum rushing in. I think fighters have just kind of figured him out, and that's why Pettis was able to make the fight pretty close, even though Joe B had so much experience and competition advantage over him. Yeah, and also don't stay on your back for long periods of time, because it's just not how you win a 5-round fight. Also, you're just losing time. You're just losing crucial minutes in the matchup, because I don't know if you're going to win the championship rounds. Your cardio is kind of unknown. It's an unknown factor here because you've never gone 5 rounds. So, but his cardio does look pretty decent in the 3-round fights, but you just never know. It's also a lot psychological, thinking whether you can go into rounds 4 and 5 or not. But he's a flyweight, so should be right. Also, clinch up and throw elbows if Benavidez tries to land combos in the pocket, because that's probably what he'll be trying to do with the reach disadvantage. He's probably trying to get in the boxing range, get in the pocket and start throwing hooks. That's Benavidez's best punches, really, the hooks. That's where he generates the most power. So yeah, just clinch up, if he does break the distance, but obviously try and keep the distance long and at your range for the whole fight. Path to victory for Joe B. Work the body. He's got a granite chin, so don't headhunt the whole fight. Just try and work the body. He can be hurt to the body. We've seen it. Also throw some hard leg kicks. He doesn't really check the leg kicks. He stands very... Well, I don't know. We haven't really seen anyone throw leg kicks at him, but he stands in a very wide stance. So he's putting a lot of pressure onto that lead leg. So just kick it out, disrupt the balance. Make him take the pressure off the lead leg and see how he moves after that. Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading a notification. Take the back when he's getting up, because he gives it every single time. Look for reactive double leg when Deiveson Figueiredo is crashing forward, because he does. When Formiga was countering Deiveson, looking for a counter or looking for a reactive double leg, Deiveson was overextending a lot and he was crashing forward to close the distance. So I'd definitely consider counterpunching in this matchup for Joe B. Hard hooks when coming off the clinch break, because Deiveson keeps his hands low off the clinch break. Well, he just keeps them low at all times because he's so reliant on head movement and body movement. So look for hard hooks off the clinch break and clinch often. Try and break that distance. Clinch up, land some hooks, clinch up again, hard hooks off the exit. But watch out for the elbows if you're gonna enter the clinch. Also beware of the takedown. The takedown defense of Figueiredo, where he throws up the guillotine and locks it up, because that does look pretty. It looks pretty fucking tight, and he fucking cranks that shit. You saw Tim Elliott sort of tap pretty fucking violently, and it was quick too. So it just hurt. It kind of crushed the throat. It didn't really choke him out. It was just kind of fucking really painful, like a neck crank, but on the fucking on the esophagus. But I think Team Alpha Male will have prepared him for this. Like, that's what they specialize in, that guillotine takedown defense trap. So I think he's prepared for that. Also, create angles which cause Figueiredo to switch stance. Try and get him in southpaw as much as you can, because that's obviously his unnatural stance and where he doesn't throw much volume from his southpaw stance. And also, when he's switching stances, he squares his hips quite often when he's moving laterally, or when he's trying to switch stance in a blitz. So look for a takedown when he's squared his hips, when he's switching stances from a distance. And yeah, look for that takedown. Try to get some control time. That's the path to victory of least damage, for sure. How I see the fight going, I see Figueiredo being the aggressor. I think he times a straight right or an uppercut on Joe B's clinch, on Joe B's blitzes, sorry. I think Joe's chin has been cracked a few times, so it'll be interesting to see how it holds up against the most powerful puncher he's ever faced. So that'll be interesting. I believe he'll get dropped at least once. He must use wrestling in this matchup, to be honest. That will be the easiest path to victory for him, or the one of least resistance. I think Joe B's blitzing style is pretty much tailor-made for Deiveson's counter-punching style, where he looks for that hard 2 off the blitz. So it'll be interesting to see how Deiveson's cardio holds up. That's the only reason I haven't gone really big on this fight. But yeah, judging by that breakdown, you can probably tell I do have Deiveson Figueiredo by a TKO. I think he finds Joe B's chin and cracks him, drops him to the ground and finishes him on the ground. So Deiveson Figueiredo, I think it happens pretty early in the fight, to be honest. Round 2, round 1, round 3. I don't think it sees the championship rounds. And Deiveson's money line at the moment, if you can get 220, I think the odds on Joe B are going to go down, to be honest. I think if you wait till fight night, I think Joe B will be around 170. Hopefully you can get Deiveson for about 220, 230. And that's what you want to get it at. But I think at the odds right now, I think I do favour Deiveson to win. So obviously at underdog odds, it's still good, but I think you'll get better odds if you wait. Also, I think Deiveson inside the distance might be playable. If it's like $4, $4.50, $3.80 or something like that, I think they'll be playable, because it's a flyweight fight, so they'll probably assume that it's going the distance. But I think he actually catches him and knocks him out. So I'm just going to put one unit on either of those, the money line and the inside the distance line. But if the inside the distance line isn't what I want, I'll probably just go with the money line. 2 units. So yeah, another underdog play for yours. Enjoy it. Enjoy the fight.